Well, conservative paranoia is running wild. At least that's what the left believes. But a brand new survey is turning that theory on its head. A recent YouGov Economist poll found that 87%, look at that number, of Hillary voters believe Russia hacked Democratic emails in order to help Donald Trump win. And when asked if Russia tampered with U.S. vote totals, something that even President Obama has said didn't happen, half of Clinton supporters believe it, while Trump supporters were much more in touch with the truth. Guy Benson is a political editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Guy, if you would, just out the gate, explain those numbers as best you can for me.
Hey, Pete, sure, yeah. So this was the survey from YouGov asking Americans generally about a series of questions that they determined to be sort of conspiracy theories. And this one was about Russia's hand in the election. So the first question that you referenced was, did the Russians hack emails at the DNC and elsewhere with an eye to influence the election, sort of election adjacent hacking, if you will? And a vast majority of Democrats and Hillary supporters said, yes, they did. And there's basis for that. The CIA and the FBI would agree with that assessment. So that's reasonable. But then there's that second question where things get into sort of shady, murky territory, where about half of Hillary supporters and slightly more than half of Democrats generally believe that the Russians actually hacked the vote totals, which is totally baseless and false. That's a conspiracy theory that a majority of Democrats believe.
Sure. So, Guy, tell me this. If you listen to the mainstream media, this whole fake news phenomenon is a phenomenon exclusively of the right. Why is the assumption that it's the right that believes fake news and everyone else has got it right?
Because it's bias. Both sides do this. Partisans will reflexively believe things that they want to believe that further their narrative or their predetermined biases. And this, of course, exists on the right as well, but it's not solely the province of the right. It occurs on the left, and this is just one example. And, Pete, I love that you brought up this whole fake news panic that we've gotten from the mainstream media and from the left, because this is partially, that data point that we just talked about is attributable to fake news. I cannot tell you how many times I would sit and read headlines or look at lower third graphics on cable news networks, not this one typically, that used kind of shorthand about the Russian hack story and said the Russians hacked the election or hacked the vote. That is conflation. That is lazy and sloppy reporting, and it has no basis in fact. As you say, even President Obama has confirmed that there's no evidence of that.
That's right. No, the failing New York Times, as our president labels it, and I like to as well, had a headline on Friday that said election hacking. You're exactly right. The shorthand, the conflation is just that. Here we are, a couple of months after the election. How close are we to any self-reflection amongst the media that, hey, maybe they got it wrong, maybe they are biased? Have you seen any indication that that's happening and that they're reaching people in middle America?
No. I mean, maybe in some individual cases, but the media is going to keep doing what they do. The left clearly is not making almost any sort of pivot whatsoever. And they're going to keep sitting around saying, oh, it's fake news that cost us the election. It's Russian hacking. And if you want to create a little bubble world for yourself, I guess that's one way of sort of arranging a coping mechanism for yourself. But that's not going to help you see the facts as they truly exist, which is Donald Trump won the election. There was no hacking of the vote totals. And to say otherwise is simply false, fake news.
Sure, and maybe the policies you've been proposing haven't worked and influenced people's lives the way we wanted. So
maybe so.
Maybe so, Guy. Hey, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it.